Okay, here we go with week 6. We're talking about art and the media this week. This is a fun week. We're doing a collage project. We're looking at more in depth at Ai Weiwei this week, and another artist named Makoto Fujimura, a contemporary abstract artist who actually works within Christian context. And be looking for your work by Friday as usual. Those Why Beauty Matters and your Wasteland reviews. I'm looking forward to reading those. They're always really interesting. Some interesting conversations always come from that. Okay, lecture material this week, a little bit more vocab than we've had the last few weeks, but we're talking about the evolution of a message, and basically we're going to look at the idea of who an artist is, how things change throughout, what artists' roles have been throughout human history. And of course, with new media, that has really changed. It's become much more prolific. People can be artists who maybe didn't have the capacity or the tools at their disposal to in the past. So this is a really interesting one to consider this week. Our Artist of the Week, you do have questions due for this one. I want you to explore the website of contemporary Christian artist Makoto Fujimura. So you can just go ahead and click here, and that will take you to his website. Be sure to watch any clips that he has there, and then answer the following questions. How does Fujimura cross cultural boundaries? How does Fujimura disrupt traditional Christian art forms in order to spread the gospel? So think of what we traditionally think of as Christian art, and then think of how Fujimura's is quite different. And number 3, describe your reaction to his work. So you may, again, make sure you use the text editor here. A lot of you still are, when we go to do this assignment, you're putting your work here in the comment section. Please hit write submission so that the full text editor pops up. That way, when you submit your work, it won't just be on this tiny column on the right in the comment section. It'll actually be, right there in the middle of the page. Okay, let's go back here to our learning activities. There we go. And our reflection this week is a discussion board, and we're looking more in depth at Ai Weiwei. Remember the sunflower seeds? And I'd like you to view his TED Talk, so you can watch it right here. There's a link to it as well. And then in paragraph form, the following questions, please. What makes Weiwei's work so controversial? How does he use new media as an effective means of communication in his art? How do you feel about Weiwei's incarceration? And please make sure you comment on at least 2 peers' works. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Did you just find something they said was really interesting? Engage with your peers here. That's why these are discussion boards. And Weiwei's a great artist to consider in discussion boards. Okay, we're going to be doing a collage this week. So we had quite a bit of writing last week, a lot less writing going on this week. There's no writing for this assignment. You're creating an image. I want you to imagine, that you are creating an image for someone who has never set foot on planet Earth before. How could you communicate a sense of what it's like to be alive here in the 21st century? What things would be important to include? What types of images to kind of sum up our culture? So you're going to create a collage by combining seemingly disjointed images into one composition that describes 21st century visual culture. You should include images from as many aspects of new media as you possibly can. So think about film, photography, graphic design, fashion, music, memes, social media, advertising, the news. There's plenty of stuff going on in the news for you to pick from. Your collage can be done digitally. However, if you're doing it digitally, you better know how to use these tools. What I don't want is a PowerPoint slide where you've taken some images and just popped them all right next to each other. This is a collage. This is, again, you're taking seemingly disjointed images and making them into one composition, okay? You can do this digitally by hand, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, or a combination of these. Be creative. Can you incorporate different textures, different materials here? You must include a minimum of 25 images in your collage. A minimum, okay? Be sure your collage takes up, the majority of your picture plane. So to submit it, you can scan or photograph your collage. If you're photographing it, make sure there's no shadows of it, that you're photographing it from directly above. You know, give me a nice cropped, clean image if you need to photograph it and you don't have a scanner to use. And upload your image attachment. So make sure that the file is titled with your last name and the assignment title. Here's an example. And for inspiration, I want you to look at the following artists. So Hannah Hawk is one that did a lot of photo montage and collage images. And I want you to see what she's doing. She's taking seemingly disjointed images and she's putting them together to make one new composition, right? So this is not just a bunch of images all slapped next to each other. She tends to do a lot with text. You can see how she's taking these images and kind of, you know, she tends to do a lot with faces and people and kind of piecing them back together, kind of disassembling them and piecing them back together. All of her images are social commentary. So she's always, you know, considering what's going on in the news, or was. She was working in the 1920s, 30s. So you can see some of these are, you know, images that other people have done. For example, this was an original. This is something that someone has done in her style. But I want you to kind of look through. So she's a good one to look at examples of her work. David Hockney is another one doing very different style of photo montage. He's more taking one image and replicating it many times and piecing it back together. But again, the idea here is that we're creating a new composition. John Hartfield was another one, actually, who was a German who left Germany during World War II and was obviously very critical of Hitler, as you can see. And so he did these incredible photo montages. And this, again, keep in mind, this was in the 1930s, 1940s. So what he was doing is even more impressive considering he had to do it all by hand. He was taking these images and piecing them back together to make these, you know, very critical of society type works. So a lot of good influence. You could kind of go down a rabbit hole and just keep looking at these different collage artists. Raul Hausman is a good one as well. I've got Bruce Conner here for you. So go ahead and take a look through all of these, get some inspiration. I want you to really, you know, you don't have to write this time, but I want to see some creativity. I don't want this to just be minimal effort, slapping some images on a page, okay? I'll be able to tell the difference. And of course, you've got your quiz. So we have more assignments due this week than normal, but it's because we have less writing going on. So we've got quiz, we've got a collage. I want you to really pour some time into this. We have a reflection, a discussion board, and we've got our Artist of the Week questions. So we just got 3 weeks left. You guys are doing really great. I'm excited to read your Why Beauty Matters papers, and I hope you all enjoyed Wasteland. Great film. Have an excellent week, everyone. Let me know if you have any questions.